lords and ladies, to the North Remembers. We're on episode 8 now. We're calling it Heavy Lies the Crown. They called it Lord of the Tides, which was actually one of the good names they came up with, I thought. I was like, because some of their names, I'm sorry. But that one was a pretty good one. But we don't want to steal their names again.
He'll send you his resume if you guys are interested.
It's alright, if that's the job I can get. Alright, so Dee's got, I don't know if you could ever see, but I've got like a Viking kind of themed mug, and it's got a wolf on it, like House Stark in my sweater. And Dee now has himself one with a dragon on the handle. So we both kind of got the theme going.
I have to be really careful because there's red in here. I'm wearing a white shirt.
Hey, and I've got blue.
Hey, try not watching 3D.
Okay, so 6 years have passed since the last visit between the families. Where was that? Was it at King's Landing?
6 years have passed since our last encounter with the Targaryens.
It was actually it was at Driftmark. It was at Driftmark was the last time they were all together.
Yeah, they sailed off.
It was 6 years ago. So it starts with Princess Rhaenys talking about how she hasn't seen her lord husband in 6 years in person. And she's basically being told by the maester that...
he's been injured.
Yeah, he's been gravely injured. I guess there was a ship that they made look empty and like crashed or abandoned or whatever. And when they boarded it, they snuck attacked him, cut his throat, and he fell into the ocean. And that stresses her out, obviously. But that's not what the worst of it is the maester.
Yeah, that's not what's getting him. What's getting him is the blood fever.
Yeah,
that's what they call it.
Yeah, the blood fever. Fever from blood loss and fucking probably infection from ocean water, right? Filthy fucking...
Or whatever's out there.
Yeah, filthy blade, you never know, right? Whatever. His dirty fucking hair, dreadlocks. But, so... Basically, she's like, okay, where did the ravens come from? They tell her where. I can't remember the name because that wasn't that important to me. And she's like, okay, so they'll be here in 3 days. And he goes away, and she's like, okay, make sure everything's ready for his arrival. So then his brother, Lord Vaemond, well, first the granddaughter, Baela, I believe it is there. And she says, the sea snake is strong. And
don't worry, mother.
Yeah, don't worry, grandmother. He'll pull through, And Vaemond, his brother, is basically saying, yeah, but I've seen people men half his age not come back from blood fever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll have no talk of crows in my house. And he's like, we got to be real, He says it much more eloquently, of course. But we basically got to be real. His ship can get here and he could be dead. And we have to think about what happens to Driftmark. And she's like, and she's like, Lucerys, gets it. Is said to get it. And he's like, I am the Sneak Snake's blood, his only true, family he has left. And she's like, careful, brother. The way you're talking could be mistaken for treason.
Yeah.
And he walks up slowly, as to whisper, obviously. It's like, what I speak is the truth. She's like, my cousin would have your fucking tongue out for this guy to talk.
Did she not bring up the girls at all? If you really want to go blood and not name, he has,
Yeah, or Laenor's daughters and shit like that. And he kind of just looks over at her.
But he's basically like, they're not going to accept a king.
Yeah, and he says...
Or a queen, they're not going to accept a lady over Driftmark.
Yeah, and he basically, she basically says, my grandmother seems quite comfortable, and he's like, she's only here while her husband's gone.
Yeah, she's the
acting
regent, yeah.
And he basically says, I would love your support, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
The tides have changed, and she's like, my cousin would have your tongue out for saying this, and he's like, but you're mistaken. A king doesn't sit on the Iron Throne. A queen does. And the look on Rhaenyra's face is just like Like he's right.
Yeah, goddamn it, you're right.
Yeah, fucking shit. Then it cuts to Dragonstone. And it looks like where in the original series, Jon Snow and Khaleesi, Daenerys, easily walked through, which is because it hasn't been boiling in years at that point. Daemon was having to like rappel, like old school. He didn't even have a rope. He was like feet against the rocks.
And his back on the side.
Yeah, like
shimmying down.
And he gets down and it's fucking steaming, right? And he finds what he calls in a moment or so a clutch of dragon eggs, but it looks like a fucking loogie / like a burnt loogie.
Tar loogie.
A tar loogie. And
it's like stab it. And, like,
so I don't know how would it doesn't really show the dragons lay eggs, and I don't know if it's described in the books as I haven't read them, but I don't know if she like gives birth to them like that,
salmon.
like normal, or does she like hawk them up? You know, like
a furball.
Yeah, like hack up one of those.
I imagine it's something like
out of her lady dragon
they
parts.
spray eggs, and obviously it's not like salmon where there's thousands. They probably get like a dog, like 4 or 5 max, and then I'd assume the male would have to fertilize them somehow, like a fish. They just spray their stuff all over them.
Yeah, so he smashes it open, and it's like a
not
mixture.
the egg, the loogie.
Yeah, the loogie, and it's like a mixture of sound of like chisel and like slimy, nasty, fucking gross. See if you can turn up the sound effects on that one, D. Or get the sound effects from it. And he comes out and he tells the dragon keepers basically, there's 3 eggs. There's 3 eggs.
A clutch of 3 eggs.
They get him to the warming chamber immediately, and they're like, they look stressed, and they're like, here you go. And he's like, okay, and he reads it. And you can't read what it says quickly enough, but if you take a look.
I caught King's Landing.
I did catch King's Landing and Vaemond. So basically it's describing that Vaemond is on his way to King's Landing to fucking stake the claim of succession over Driftmark, and which would be putting...
And it's written from his daughter.
Yeah, it's written from his daughter, the Princess Baela. So it's coming from Driftmark, where she is the ward of Rhaenyra.
And the last time he got bad news in a message, he beat the shit out of the messenger. So
yeah,
that's why those guys were a little standoffish, trying to give him that slip.
That's true. He doesn't take bad news well,
Yeah.
so you have to deliver this. Oh God, no, you're gonna hand it to him.
Yeah.
Hey, you're always saying
I'm holding the staff.
You're always saying that you're the superior and you're in charge here. Well, guess what?
My hands are busy holding the walking sticks.
So then it cuts to Princess Rhaenyra, clearly preggo as hell, and we learn later that it is her 6th child. We'll get to that. Third with Daemon, and she's already has the 3 with Rhaenyra, right? Shh. He'll have your tongue for that. King will. So she's clearly pregnant as hell. She walks in on Jace practicing Old Valyrian, and he keeps getting like small translations wrong, small little things right, and he's getting really frustrated. And she's like, I don't expect you to learn it in a day. And he's like, yeah, but a king should know these things.
Yeah, he's more. She's like, take a break, and he's more about. No, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah,
give me some more.
And then so Daemon shows up and kind of hands her the letter, and she goes, okay, Jace, to your chambers or whatever. And he's like, okay, Joffrey. And Joffrey's now, obviously, at this point, 6 years old, little
at least,
curly hair, fucking Sir Harwin, straight up. But that still makes me think about Jace. Yeah. That still makes me think about Jace, though, because his hair is now an older actor. Still straight, like,
but
Lucas
or whatever, his is a little bit more
straight now that he's older, too. So
he's got a one curve to it.
Yeah. So, basically, Daemon relays the news, gives her the letter, and she's stressed. Oh God, he means to challenge Luke's claim, which by doing that
challenges everything.
Challenges all of us, and he's like, no, all he cares about is Driftmark and the Valyrian line. And she's like, well, Rhaenys has already traveled there on Dragonback. what do you think she plans to do? He's like, well, she's not vindictive enough to go after us. What? She thinks we killed her son so that we could marry. Yes, but she also took Bela as her ward.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but that was out of love for your first wife, her daughter, not for any love of us.
Yeah.
And he's like, it'll be fine. So off to King's Landing.
And she's like, well, we're suiting up and going.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, I guess we're going. And so it's off to King's Landing to defend Luke's claim, right? And when they get there, they are greeted by no one. Targaryen banners still fly, but it's dead outside. No one's there to greet him. Sir Caswell comes out, like, running, like, oh, like, didn't realize they were there and got told, like, while he was fucking taking a piss or something.
Right.
It's like, oh, shit, is somebody gonna go get him?
That was today. Fuck.
And he runs out there and is like, okay, and she comes in. Her and Daemon come in, and there are no more dragon cuttings and dragon stonework, I would say.
Yeah.
Cut into the ceilings and the walls. Now the stars of the seven. And they look around and it's dead. It doesn't have the life blood that it had in the first episode where you're walking when it showed them walking through and it was like people dancing and partying and
or even when she just had delivered her baby and was walking through.
There was a lot of people walking up the stairs.
Dadsville.
It's just nobody's around. Nobody wants to be around. It's very quiet. It's like a church almost. It feels very much like a somber, quiet place. And Damon's like, And Rhaenyra says, I would say it's good to be home, but I can scarcely recognize it, you know? And cuts to the queen sitting at the head of the small council, which is
blasphemy.
Yeah. Lord Beesbury's going on and on about money. This cost this and this cost that and whatever. And they want money for a new bust, which I would not advise. And she's like, and everybody goes around the whole table. Everybody's just like,
they're just done with the pedal paddle.
Like the budget. Like, we got it. We're rich as fuck and...
You're the master of coin for a reason. Fucking that shit.
But you know what? That just shows that he takes his fucking job seriously.
This not have been covered in an email.
A raven? Could you not have sent a raven?
Yeah.
Do we really have to have this go on for 30 fucking minutes? But you know, that shows that he takes his job seriously and he's thorough. At least somebody fucking takes their job.
New faces, not all Targaryens. So you get
everybody
Lannister and shit like that.
Lannister,
do a little line here and there.
And they basically Sir Harlan comes in and basically says your guests have arrived. And Otto says, I trust that they were greeted a manner that befits their station. Which Alicent right away looks like she's not going to say anything to disagree with it. But she does look like, that's not fun that you're saying it out loud. Kind of like, I get it, but I don't like it. Like, that sounds horrible. Like, we're being such dicks.
Yeah.
And then, basically, they discuss Driftmark and the Maester, the new head Maester, because the other one's clearly, obviously dead. He was old as fuck before. He's dead, and a gentleman's replaced him. He's basically saying that Vaeland's come to, talk about his claim, but it's understood that, Luke has been decided, and then Lord Beesbury goes into it and goes, why would there even be question this and that? And the other guy goes, yeah, indeed, why, Lord Beesbury? Indeed, why?
Yeah.
Like, come on, old man. We all know.
One of his excuses, he tries to play it off, and it's not like
he's not outright saying it.
No, not even a lineage thing, but he says something along the lines. It's like, he's still a boy, like he's been sheltered his whole life.
Yeah,
Is that the kind of person that we need to be Lord of the Tides right now?
Yeah.
We're fighting a war in the Sea Stones.
He's never been to Driftmark.
Yeah.
He's spent all of his life away from it. Yeah, he can ride a dragon, but what is that? What does he know about leading a fucking army?
Yeah, is that who we want in a position of power right now?
Yeah, and it's like, we must do what's right for the crown. The crown must do what's... what's right for the realm, and they're like, mm-hmm. When really, Otto, I mean, and that's a true statement from some of them, I think. Even Lannister, it's like, yeah, okay, that's right. But like Otto's like in the back of his mind, like, yeah, for me, the realm / whatever the fuck I want, you know.
Yeah. It's basically just him and his daughter running shit right now.
Yeah, and they understand that they all kind of carefully discuss it when they discuss Rhaenyra's children. And she basically says, we will discuss, they will have their chance tomorrow to discuss it. And she excuses herself.
Bring to court or whatever. Yeah.
She's like, she excuses herself.
I think she excuses the whole...
No, because they continue talking. They're like, should we levy a tax on the new fucking wool or something?
She's like, I'm done with this. Yeah. And Otto's like, yeah, get out of here. I'll handle the rest.
We'll talk about, you said what you need to say as being like in charge. Now I can be the one that's like, no, we're not, or we need more taxes for wool or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So on her way out, though, Sir Eric shows up, which is, I take, the prince's personal guard or one of the king's personal guard. Comes up and says, there's been a situation. Then it doesn't say what the situation is. We'll get to that. It's fucked. It goes right to Princess Rhaenyra and Daemon's visit to
Viserys.
And as Dee pointed out in the episode, what's the first thing you notice is wrong with that situation,
Dee?
His Legos are fucked up.
Oh yeah, it's all dusty and
his models.
Decrepit.
He hasn't worked at his models for a long time.
Cobwebs and shit.
Yeah, it looks sad. And
he's just lying in bed.
Yeah, they don't even see him alone.
No
nurses, maesters, nobody.
Happening.
Just burning incense, and he's just laying in there sleeping. Out of it as fuck on milk of the pop heroin, right? And they walk up to him, and Rhaenyra sits down, and she's like, "It's me, it's Rhaenyra," and he's like, "Oh," and he just kind of says, "Rhaenyra," and I'm here with Daemon. And Daemon, when she walks up, though, I want to point out that Daemon hangs back. Like, she goes to walk up right away, and he's like, he doesn't, I don't think it was that. Well, maybe it was that. That hadn't occurred to me. But, make your point. Let them have their moment, maybe.
Well, I just mean, it's like, father-daughter, she's the next in line. He doesn't want to seem eager, like, yeah, I'm next in line because I'm with her. But at the same time, like, he's always been about family. When her mother died, he walked up to her and was like, your father needs you now more than ever. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like I think in a supportive way, he hung back at first, let them do their thing, and then he kind of comes in at the end.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I kind of felt like he couldn't handle seeing him like that. He knew it was gonna be fucked up.
Yeah.
If it was this bad that there was no greeting, even when they got in, there was nobody. The place is completely different. Obviously, Viserys has not been himself in a long time, so something is wrong. And the last time he commented on how the gods have been especially cruel to him, so he could only imagine how 6 years has gone by, and you cannot. Because it doesn't even show it in this scene. We will get to that when it does show up. But what it does show now is basically, she says, I'm here with Daemon. And when he hears Daemon's voice, is when he kind of is like, Daemon. He wants to sit up then. He urges to sit up at that point. And Daemon basically comes up and says there's fighting in the stepstones, and he's like, we fought that. We won that war years ago. And he's like, no, it's new.
New battle, new war.
You have to, you have to back Lucas's claim, whatever, to Driftmark. And he's like, Otto and Allison had all of this. No, brother, you have to do it. You have to do it, basically almost like you have to do this before you die.
Yeah. You
have to reaffirm his claim basically before you die. He doesn't say it right then, but and he's just like, is something happened to Lord Corlys? And before they could even say anything, he just gets kind of weird. No, something's different. And she goes, I want to introduce you to someone. And he's like, who is this? And she has the nurse bring in the one kid, and she points to the one kid that's furthest. She's holding the newest one. She points to the furthest one away and says, that is, what is it? What was the first one?
Aegon.
Oh yeah, Aegon, which is the name for the first son he had with Alicent, renaming another one Aegon already. Aegon, Daemon, Vaemond, fuck. Jesus.
And then
Viserys, Daenerys.
And then the second one is Viserys.
Aemond, Aegon, yeah, it's all fucking jeez. But, so she says, this is Aegon. And he's like, oh, Aegon. And then she goes, and this is Viserys. And he just smiles and he goes, Viserys. And he kind of touches the little boy's face. He goes, now that is a name worthy of a king.
Yeah.
And they chuckle and they have like a cute little moment. And then he's just coughing and in a lot of pain. He says, I need my tea. And Daemon's like, this tea? He gives it to him. He drinks it down and starts to lay down. And Daemon's like, and then shows it to Rhaenyra and she looks in it. And they kind of look at each other. Milk of the poppy. And it's very clear that he's fucking hooked on it way fucking hard.
Yeah.
Way hard. And, I mean, he's in a lot of pain. And you see why later.
Yeah, you find out throughout the episode. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. Okay, so then it cuts back to Alicent's little situation. Now her little situation was, it just shows her meeting with a little servant girl named Diana, I think. What her name was?
Leona, or something like that.
Diana. Something like that. But she's bawling. She's hysterical.
Oh, that girl.
Yeah,
that's Diana. I thought you were talking about her servant.
Mm-mm. The little servant girl that's the situation is like, huh? And she's like, I understand you found yourself into some trouble. What happened? You know, and she's like, I was bringing the prince's wine, and I didn't know he was there.
I turned around.
And I turned around, and I told him to stop. I swear. And she's like, it's okay, it's okay. I believe you. But here's what I worry about. And then she gets all fucking, it goes from, like, she legitimately believes her. She knows at this point that her son did something fucked up.
Yeah.
And she looks teary-eyed and honestly sad. But then right when it comes to the moment of explaining why, right, so she goes, she kind of backs away and goes, and then just, you could see it melt off her face, and fucking cold, political, Alicent Hightower comes up and goes, but here's what I worry about. I worry about what other people might think.
I think you might have seduced him there.
Yeah, that what you might have done it just to besmirch him, or worse, you know. That you
Yeah,
enticed him. You enticed him in the first place. No one saw you, and you're going around telling everybody. You told the maid. You told Sir Eric. Now me. I promise I won't say it to anybody else. I promise. I promise. And she goes, I know you won't. And then she goes over and grabs a big old fucking fat sack of gold. For your troubles. And then turns around. Up comes the fucking
servant girl.
Servant girl.
Well, I was mistaken. You were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Her name's like Leona or something like that.
And little tea. And it's very dramatic how they show the pouring. It's like
you can see it's like a white.
It's white. It's hot as fuck. It is, but they like enhance the sound and everything to dramatize, and it works.
The tea, yeah.
And it works because it's like you can hear, and it's like, and she's just looking, and she hands it to her, and she says, Alicent hands it to the little servant girl and says, "It's best to be certain." And then sits there, and the poor little girl's sitting there, and then she's got the tea, right? And then she's got the bag of gold. She's looking at both, and then she's just like, and Alicent is looking as she's like, making sure that little bitch drinks the tea.
All of it.
All of it. Yep. Every drop. Now. Yep. And clearly seems like something she has done before.
It always seems like something she's done before. Very creepy vibes in that whole scene. I think, personally, that she ended up having her killed.
Yeah, that's a very, like...
I don't think that
that's
they
too
just
big
started
of a...
off
Yeah.
with gold and
Yeah, like how
Plan
can you
B.
how can you trust that? Like you
Like,
can
she's
trust the
not
plan
gonna
B.
tell him fucking Deception and shit like that. Like Allison's so into religion now. She changed everything to the Star of the Seven and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, her kid's going around raping all the servants and shit.
Yeah, that's not good. So she immediately goes to Aegon, who's assed out in bed.
Butt ass naked.
Another excuse to show the new actor, young, white, pale ass on screen.
Which I was a little disappointed in the Aegon casting.
I think he could have flopped
It's just weird
those
that
two.
he's the older one, but he's smaller and he's more of a bitch.
It does seem like he was shorter. Like the actors
He's
were
definitely
switched.
shorter.
The actors were switched.
Yeah.
If Aemond was going to grow up to be taller,
Well, maybe riding dragons makes you
fucking
a
grows her
badass.
legs,
Yeah,
sitting
I
around
know.
fucking slave
Gives
girls,
you some cojones.
sitting around and servant girls and getting drunk all day doesn't fucking help you grow. Stunts your growth,
Yeah,
apparently.
ask Tyrion.
Yeah, ask Tyrion. Fucking the servants and getting drunk all day. Stunts your growth. Just ask Tyrion. That's awesome. Oh, that's good. So, basically, she fucking slaps him awake. And I was like,
Like,
what's...
that's doing your shit again.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's with that girl? Diana. And he's like, who? The servant girl that just ran out of here fucking bawling, you know? And he's like, oh, it was just a bit of harmless fun. She didn't even make a big deal about it. And she's just like, oh my
Slaps
God.
the shit out of him.
She's like, how could you carry on this way? It's an insult to your wife, to me, which means he's already been married to his sister, Helena, obviously at this point. It's an insult to your wife, it's to me. How could you carry on like this on this day of all days? And he's like, what's today? And she just fucking whacks him. A fucking good one. And she's like, you're no son of mine. And she goes to walk away. And he's like, I didn't want this.
I can never please you. Nothing's good enough
Not for you. I do
mother.
everything you ask of me. And nothing's good enough for you, old father. And she's just looking at him like, are you crying to me? She doesn't say it, but like, are you crying to me of doing what's asked of you
Right.
and it not being enough? You little shit. You're off fucking to help, and I'm having to clean up after you. And we want to talk about sacrifices. I had to have your little albino ass.
Yeah, the only kid of hers that's not fucked up and an asshole's Elaine, and she's a wackadoo.
Yeah, and she's just fucking... She sees other people, whether it be she really does or not. And she basically just doesn't care. And then it shows another maid show up and say, where's Diana? She was supposed to feed the children. And she just looks at... Allison just looks at her and walks up and hugs her like sad, like, God help us. God help you. That my son doesn't fucking have one of his Targaryen fits, maybe. Maybe it's a weird... He goes into like a rage or some shit. I don't know.
Some people just fucking fucked up.
The Targaryens are fucked up in all kinds of ways, different ones at
I
different
think
times.
most of that is explained by the inbreeding, though. And
Yeah.
with him, he's not. He's
Oh yeah, he's not!
Yeah.
No shit, he's got no excuse.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you fucking coddle your
Except for
kids.
your mom telling you that you should be king and your
Telling you you're
cousins
special
are
too long.
bastards. And
Yeah, getting told you're special for too long and getting everything fucking handed to you it made you a little fucking...
and your grandpa's working his ass off.
Well, he
to
thinks
get
that's
you
what
king.
makes him thinks he could just take it. He could just fucking, oh, well, it's
Well, yeah, I
entitled.
guarantee he hasn't left the Red Keep ever.
Yeah. Or not far, if anywhere.
Yeah, and always in
Escorted.
regard. Yeah.
Yeah, escorted. So then it goes to Allison meeting with Rhaenyra and Daemon. And she basically says, you know, it starts off with her saying, you know, it's been so long since it's so good to see you after so long. But the first thing she looks at is Rhaenyra's fucking scar that she
Yeah.
gave her. And Rhaenyra like covers it up and then also like holds it to her pregnant ass belly. And Daemon cuts in and says, okay. He's like, yes, but not long enough to permit a greeting, apparently.
Yeah, we've been gone a long time. It's been too long, but not long enough to where
To merit
you
a
make
greeting.
a deal out of us coming here.
Yeah, and then and Rhaenyra's like, nonsense, my love. I'm sure the queen was busy. What do we know about ruling a kingdom? And Alicent goes, I do not rule, as you know. Me and the Hand are merely stewards of the
Word of the king.
or the king's wisdom. We are just stewards of the king's wisdom. And he's like, Daemon just sits there. And how exactly is that wisdom expressed? He blinks and wheezes. He's got so much milk of the poppy. I doubt even know he can hardly remember who he is, let alone you remember.
Right? Yeah.
And she's like, you don't understand. He's in so much pain. He's in so much pain, Rhaenyra. If you just see him without it. And she's like, oh, okay. He's in so much pain. So it's the maesters. She's like, if the maesters prescribe, so you keep him drugged. Oh yeah, that's why you keep him addled milk of the poppy while the Hightowers warm his throne. She's like, that's not how it is. It's I give him what the maesters prescribe. And Daemon cuts in again and goes, oh, and was it the maesters who prescribed the removing of Targaryen stonework and the replacing of it with stars? And she goes, the seven are just meant to guide us, this and that, blah 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 blah. And she goes, Rhaenyra goes, I see. And who will be preside over us? The gods preside over us and our decisions, this and that. And Rhaenyra's like, oh, I see. Because the Targaryens don't buy into these new seven gods shit. They're the old gods.
Yeah.
Right? So she's like, I see. So who will be presiding over the succession of Driftmark concerning my son tomorrow? The gods or... She's like, me and the Hand. But don't worry. I have faith that the mother will not sway me, my decision, based on the accusations you've flung here today. And then she turns around and walks out. She's like, fuck.
Yeah. It's hard to give that exchange justice, the way that they time and the words they use and shit.
Yeah, they use a lot of more...
You've all seen it. We know that if you're watching us, you've seen it. It's pretty badass.
It is. It's a lot of good fucking back and forth and just fucking glared and like smart mouth talk. Like saying what they can say and like... It's almost like in a court of law. Like they know they're being recorded,
Right.
Like,
it's like when you have to write a nasty email to your boss, but you can't like be an asshole, so you have to like church it up a bit.
Yeah. So we are at where it shows Luke and Jace walk down to their old training ground, and they're just kind of talking about, oh yeah, look, remember when look, it's still here, Mark, where you almost
he's like, you thought you could take him with the Morning Star or whatever.
Almost took your own head off. And then behind you can see a kid or a tall man, very tall,
very
like
young adults,
yeah,
I'd say,
but fucking moving like a machine with Sir Kristen sparring, and Sir Kristen is fucking not holding back.
You just said it. That's the only time we see Kristen this whole episode.
Yeah, he is dropping off. I think it's because they're gonna bombshell us with him. Something's gonna happen.
He's falling behind the scenes, and it might have to do with Jace. That's his prediction. I affirm it. I'm behind it all the way.
I believe that Jace that might be his. But anyway, it goes to showing Aemond. You find out, but Sir Kristen is not holding back. He's fucking swinging that Morning Star like it's going out of style. He busts the shield, and they're the boys start watching, and then they see boom, it turns around. And I didn't notice it till upon second watch, but when he turns around and he's looking at Sir Kristen, he's looking past them. And at the exact moment that they realize who it is, he sees that they're there.
Yeah.
And Luke, the one who took his fucking eye, automatically looks nervous and looks over at Jace. Jace looks nervous and is just kind of like...
imagine that's the last time they saw each other.
Oh yeah, it is the last time they saw each other. And there's basically... Jace looks at him like...
Keep your cool.
Oh yeah, because
there's a lot of people around. He's always gonna fuck you up in front of everyone.
Yeah, and before we did miss some. Before he did say, everybody's staring at me. They wouldn't be staring at me if I looked more like Sir Laenor instead of Sir Harwin. And he's like, it doesn't matter what they think.
I think so. Yeah, he's old enough now. He's come to terms with that. He's not a Targaryen, or he's not a
Velaryon.
Yeah.
He's clearly a bastard. He's made peace with it, just as Jace has. But they're going along with the ruse,
and
as
Jace
they know.
says the same thing that a few people have said in Game of Thrones. It's like, I don't give a fuck what they think.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I think it's because, in the long run, Rhaenyra plans is, we just got to keep up this fucking game until I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Once I'm in charge, I can change the laws as I see fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can say, yeah, guess what? They are bastards. And it doesn't matter because I'm still
Because I'm not naming them a fucking king. I'm going to name one of these guys.
Yeah, I'll name whoever the fuck I want. Because I'm in charge now.
My father named his heir. If no one
mine.
wanted him to name it who he did, I get to name mine now.
Yeah, I can name mine.
We're set a new precedent.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. So they've made peace with it, but they still want to play the game.
Mm.
Anyway, I noticed that, like I said, Aemon sees him.
That's when he starts getting really quick
fucking,
and fancy.
And he's fucking outfoxes Kristen and just gets it where his blade's right there and goes. So Kristen's like, very, very well done, my prince. You'll be winning tourneys in no time. And he's like, I don't give a shit about tourneys. And then he just looks right over with his one eye. And for some reason, the one eye makes him look creepier / badass. But
gives an ambient.
It makes you notice. It makes you notice his fucking stare more. I think.
Yeah, well, it makes you notice who he's concentrating on.
Yeah. So he immediately fucking, like, his eye bolts over to the right and he goes, nephews, come to train. And they're just like, and before it can get more awkward than that, like, he's ready to fuck them up in the training to an extent. Yeah, to an extent, you know, it's all fun and games when the training accidentally takes their eye out, right?
Yeah.
Should have done it that way because that would have been a lot quicker. He probably got a lot worse plan. If Dee's right, which he'll talk about in a bit, it's probably a lot worse. Right at that moment, the gates open. Vaemond has arrived, and he got his greeting because Targaryen guards and Hightower guards are walking him in.
Well, Velaryon guards and Hightower guards.
Yeah, Velaryon. Yeah, his guards and Hightower guards are walking him in, with his banners and all that. Proper greeting for a lord, right? And he just sneers at Luke, like I'm here, boy. I'm here to fucking take what's mine.
Right.
So then it shows Vaemond, Otto, and Alicent discussing Driftmark's succession. And basically they're saying, you know, that we're doing what's good for the realm, you know. And Alicent's like, Otto says, you look nervous. And she's like, I'll admit, you know, kind of like I was for it, but now that it's come to the day, you know, I mean, the man's not even dead, and we're deciding, we don't even know if the man's dead, and we're deciding on...
So it's okay if I feel a little uneasy about what's going on.
Yeah, and they basically just reassure, we're doing it for the good of the realm, and then Daemon kind of reassures her, and I thought this was interesting. He says, the Driftmark, or the new Lord of the Tides will be in your debt. Your debt.
Yeah.
He didn't say the crown's debt. He didn't say the realm's debt. He said, will be your debt. like Otto and her, kind of like you guys. Kind of like you guys. Like,
all you want.
Yeah, like Driftmark and its new lord, i.e. me, will be very grateful to you specifically.
Right.
So, basically, there goes, cuts to the Godswood. And Rhaenyra has brought Rhaenyra there to see her grandmother, Rhaenys. Rhaenys is there, kind of just sitting there stoically. She's very happy to see her granddaughter, of course. And they come up smiling and, you know, hug and whatnot. And Rhaenyra says that, you know, Baela told us you would be here, and you've done a great job since she became your ward, you know, and
thanks for treating her well.
Thanks for treating her good. You've raised her right, kind of thing.
She's like, well, this is kind of my granddaughter. So.
Yeah, you know, obviously. And she's like, you know, she tells Rhaenyra, can we have a moment in private? She's like, yeah. She goes, okay, well, basically, I at first questioned why you would be coming here. And then it occurred to me that you're not here to back Vaemond's claim or disprove it, or mine. You're here to stake your own claim. And Rhaenys doesn't say anything. And she goes, wouldn't be any worse than what you did to Rhaenyra, would it? Kind of thing. And she's like, I loved your son. You might not believe it, it's true, but I loved him. And I had nothing to do with his death. I didn't order it. I was not complacent in it. Which, if you get correct...
Just like she did with Alicent when she said
tells
she
a
didn't
half
fuck her
truth.
or fuck her uncle. Hey, I didn't fuck my uncle.
Yeah.
I just fucked the guy you wanted to fuck. So this one, she's like, I had nothing to do with his death.
Yeah.
Because he's not dead.
Yeah, because he was never dead. So basically, she says, okay, well, then I have a proposal. Marry my sons to Rhaenyra and Baela, and
We'll rule together.
we'll rule together, and it'll be
Rhaenyra and fucking Luke will be the Lord
it's a
and
Driftmark.
Lady of
Driftmark.
the Tide,
yeah,
and Jace and Baela will be king and queen.
will be king and queen. Baela will sit on the Iron Throne, you know, and she goes, and Rhaenys goes, that is a generous offer or a desperate one.
She goes, what does it matter?
Yeah.
What it comes out of.
Yeah, and she's like,
And the queen basically, to cut it
No,
short,
Rhaenyra,
goes, what doesn't matter, you're
Yeah.
right.
she goes,
Right, and
she
then
goes,
it
but you're
changed.
but you're right in this. She goes, you can try to negotiate with me, try to soften my resolve by bringing my granddaughter in here.
Let me see.
But tomorrow, the High Towers land their first blow. They will bring you to your knees, and I'll be standing alone.
I forgot about that.
They will bring you to your knees, and I will be standing alone. And then she turns around and walks away. And Rhaenyra...
Remember those words for a scene that we're going to talk about coming up. 'Cause I forgot about that.
Rhaenyra is like, just looks like, fuck. Like, that was my last ditch. I threw everything I had.
Yeah.
I offered my sons. I offered the crown. I basically offered the crown after me
Yeah.
to her granddaughters, keeping it in Velaryon.
Well,
Velaryon blood.
you know with how tight it would be with them getting married. It's like, while I'm reigning, like, obviously I'll have your counsel, you know.
You'll be
you
right there.
set me up with this fucking,
Yeah.
you know.
You'll be running Driftmark
You'd
till
be
they.
like, or she could be the hand, basically.
Or you'll be running Driftmark till they come of age.
No, okay, well, first of all, we can't have a woman, a queen and a lady hand. The realm will not have that.
No, that's what I'm saying. She'll basically rule in Driftmark until they come of
You
age.
train
Them to
Luke
rule.
and Rhaenyra to rule.
Yeah, and I'll rule in King's Landing and teach Jace how to become king. And then we can die, fucking retired, and then who gives a fuck about the kids? They can figure their own shit out.
Yeah.
They better hurry up and pop out kids like I did. Fucking 6 babies. So then, it shows Rhaenyra at night sneak to the king's chambers, and she's just upset. And she's like, do you really believe in the Song of Ice and Fire? And Viserys says, Aegon's dream. And she's like, yes, you said that we were supposed to unite a Targaryen. We were supposed to be in charge when basically the Targaryens were supposed to unite the realm to save all of mankind when it came time.
Still a long night, yeah.
Yeah, but when you named me heir, but in naming me heir, you divided the realm. Like you did the opposite. And she's basically, I think she's thinking like, if all I do is give it up.
And that's what saves it.
Yeah,
like,
it will save it. Yeah,
they'll be united.
Yeah, she's like, I thought I wanted it, but it's a tough burden to bear. It's too much. And she's like, but I will bear it. If you want me to bear it, back me and back my children. And he just kind of sits there in pain, and she's just bawling. And you don't see it, but that's a very important moment for the king as well, like in his thought process, I think, and what happens next.
So like he sees her handling that burden.
And what she says to him is he takes it in. So it cuts to him being treated, and oh man.
Being treated.
Him being treated. He's leaned over, he's hunched over.
Oh yeah.
And the maesters are treating his fucking leprosy at this point.
It's a fasciitis.
Yeah, it's fucking bad.
It's a flesh eating.
It's bad. He's skin and bones. He's got tears all over his body. He's still got the bandana or the
bandages,
sheet,
yeah.
the bandages on the one side of his face. And he's basically saying to Otto, I want to have dinner tonight. And Otto's like, well, we can have them bring you. And he's like, no. I want to have dinner with everybody.
Your family.
The whole of my family is in the Red Keep. And I want us to dine together. Kind of like he knows, you know. Like, this is the last time, like the Last Supper. Like, this is the last time I'm going to be here when they're all here.
Yeah.
I can feel it. Look at me, for God's sakes, you know. So he's like, okay, bring milk of the poppy. And then he goes to give it to the king, and the king just looks up at him and goes, no. Just prepare the dinner.
Make it happen.
Just prepare the dinner. And Otto just like, okay, you know, that's what it'll be. And he doesn't want no drugs. So then it cuts to Otto, right where he wants to be, that fucking dick, sitting at the head, or sitting on the Iron Throne, announcing the beginning of the discussions or the listening of petitions for this.
Smug as fuck.
Yeah, smug as fuck, sitting there like, oh, he looks like he does in Little Nicky when he's sitting on the
Yeah!
He's sitting like half cocked.
You
with
know
his,
he
like,
got that from that.
Yeah.
That was a good call.
And he's got like his knee up and his
Yeah.
hand on his knee, like looking all like better,
regal as shit.
Yeah, like fucking holier than thou, like a dick bag. And he's like announcing we were going to start the petitions for the succession of Driftmark and all that. And basically it starts with Vaemond explaining how his family is old Valeria and how his blood is pure. And Rhaenyra cuts him off and says, so is the blood of my sons, the son of Rhaenys Velaryon. You only care about your ambition. You don't care anything about doing the right thing, you know?
Yeah, it's like a self-centered kind of a request.
Yeah, and then
a family one.
Alicent kind of cuts in, and she goes, Princess Rhaenyra, you know, you will have your chance to petition. Please give him the same courtesy. And he just goes right into fucking laying into her. He goes, what does he say? What do you know about Velaryon blood, princess? I could cut my veins and show it to you, and you still wouldn't recognize it.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of just looking around. Wow. He eyeballs Luke, and then Aemon is waiting intently, or is watching intently, I noticed, and Aegon is just kind of like making fart noises with his mouth. Helene is just kind of like,
yeah, they're all just like,
this is boring.
Yeah, we do this every
day.
day. Just mom and dad fucking ruling the kingdom again.
Yeah, talking bullshit. Mom and grandpa.
Yeah, mom and grandpa.
Deciding whatever. And then Rhaenyra's like, okay. So she goes to stake her claim. And right when she does, she's like, I'm going to talk about, if I must entertain this farce. And right when she does that, the doors open. And you hear, King Viserys, the first of his name, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, and the First Men, and the Andals, and all that.
And
yeah,
all
and
that.
everyone's just like, especially Otto, Alicent, and Vaemond. They all look fucking stressed out. Alicent actually looks kind of like...
Otto is the first one I noticed because he was like...
He like sits up like...
Oh, shit. And then Vaemond obviously is like, what the fuck?
He's kind of looking
and
around.
he turns and looks over to Alicent.
And
Alicent
just like,
is like...
all bets are off kind of thing.
I think, weirdly enough, Alicent seems more confident than the other two.
Like
Vaemond looks at Alicent and she's just like, fuck. And he's like, what the fuck? We had a deal.
Yeah, like that's the look
and
he gave.
Otto is just like, I'm fucking sitting in this chair.
Yeah, should I move?
I've been
should
doing
I not?
this for a while. We've been able to sedate him.
Yeah.
That's what Vaemond was thinking. We talked about this earlier. Vaemond was like, you said he's going to be asleep.
Yeah, like you didn't say he never shows up to court.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
and he's just starts fucking staggering his way up there, and it is hard to watch. He's wearing a half gold mask.
Definitely putting that up there.
And he's just struggling and struggling. And everyone's just looking. He looks right at Rhaenyra. And she looks very beautiful too. She looks so almost saddened, but like...
But she looks like shocked because she saw him with bandages. Yes, he's all haggard, but she's like, not only are you trudging your way through this court right now...
You're doing it for me.
Well, yeah, but it's like,
you
know, he's not going to show his face. Like, you know, he's got the fucking...
Yeah.
She's like, Jesus Christ.
He's bad. He really is bad. Like,
yeah.
And he's like, she's looking like almost like for me. And he's like, that's kind of why he's doing it. You could tell. He's like fucking trudging up.
He heard that.
And he gets to...
Heritage was called the question again.
Yeah, and Otto's at the bottom of the steps now. And he looks at Otto and he goes, I will sit at the throne today. And Otto just looks like, Your Grace?
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, oh God.
And that's all it is. Thank you. Thank God.
You know, like, he could have been so much worse. But he did look at him.
Me for sitting in his
he
throne.
did look a little, like, he did say it with, like, as best he could with, like, a stern, kind of like, I'm in charge here.
It was like, I'll sit the throne today.
Yeah.
Like, my turn, bitch.
Yeah. I'm back.
Yeah.
For a minute, at least. And he goes, and you had seen this, and we'll have to bring up at least...
A quote or something.
But it said that it was not planned for the crown to fall. So basically, you had said that you heard that scene, what happened in that scene. He struggles to get up the stairs, and I'll explain that, and you tell me what you heard. The crown falls off his head, and it shows him struggle to, like, stammer to reach for it. It's really sad and hard to watch, but it's so fucking awesome to see. It's like a really good brotherly moment. Daemon's hand is like there. He's right there, and he picks up the crown, and he puts his arm on fucking Viserys, and he looks him in the face, and he whispers it to him, and says, come on. And Viserys just fucking gets up. He helps him fucking to the throne. And then he looks up at him proud, like Daemon looks up at him proud. Like Viserys is still struggling and kind of trying to hold his head up. And Daemon looks at him proud like he would look at a king and fucking puts the crown on his head. And that, like, fucking had me choked up watching that.
Yeah, I think the reason why we saw it a little differently is you definitely had an attachment to that.
Yeah, with the brothers scene.
With the brothers and shit.
Yeah.
Basically, what I had read was that the crown falling wasn't supposed to happen. As far as Daemon helping him up, I think that was planned. Maybe he's just supposed to, like, stop, and Daemon would be like, yeah, no, I'm going to put this way or something like that. But as he was helping him up, he, like, he dips and a crown falls.
And they're like, wait a minute, let's push Daemon back.
No one said anything. Matt, the guy that plays Daemon, just immediately grabbed his crown, got him all the rest of the way up, and did that. Like, that was all improv.
Oh, so the way they cut it showed it.
No,
they didn't.
Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, I think that they probably had multiple cameras.
Yeah.
That was basically where the crown fell off. That was not scripted. Was not planned. And they went with what Matt or Daemon did or whatever.
Yeah.
They went with that, and it
That's
was. No one stopped. No one says cut. Maybe they had some audio. I don't know about that part. Not that.
I'm sure they probably did.
But they went with the original film of him picking it up and helping him in, which I thought
is amazing.
Gave such a
real
depth to what was happening,
and the actor's commitment and the actor's feeling.
Also, Patty, sucks to see you go, man, but thank you. You deserve an Emmy.
They don't know that yet.
Well, he's on his deathbed. He's on his deathbed. How many time hops you be doing?
Yeah.
We all know what's coming.
Yeah. So basically,
that's what starts the whole shit off.
Basically, after that, yeah, that's an awesome story. You can't make that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is just so awesome for them to be like, and they probably did cut some audio, but it might have been like Matt just being like, no. You know, like not even looking at the camera,
Yeah.
but like when he's putting it on,
Or
like
maybe even
just
the
yelling
director
over it.
himself, just
Like,
cut, and then
and-
they keep going. He's like,
Yeah, like wait, no, wait.
yeah, don't cut, kind
Yeah,
of
wait,
thing. Let him
go
finish
with-
the
go
scene.
with
And
it,
he's like,
go
we're
with
using
it.
that, we're using that.
Because they're in the moment. They're
And you just play music. There's music during the scene.
Yeah, during the whole thing. So it's like that's really
But he gets
beautiful.
up there.
And it does get you an emotional. It tugs at you. It tugs at you really hard. And the king basically sits there, exhausted as fuck. He's like, I'm confused. I must admit my confusion. Why are we discussing a matter basically that I've already
ruled on.
I've already discussed?
Yeah.
You know? And
My word not mean a damn anymore? The fuck?
and he says, the way I see it, the only one that has insight into Lord Corlys's intentions wishes,
yeah.
would be the Princess Rhaenys. So she comes up and says, okay, and they're all looking like, what's she gonna say? What's she gonna do? And
She
even
was
Rhaenyra,
right by her man.
and Rhaenyra even was like, oh God, she already told me in the Godswood that I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. This is it.
But she was
But she was a fucking badass bitch, so she wasn't a total bitch.
a lady of her man.
She was
respected
loyal.
her man's wishes.
And she says, Lord Corlys, my lord husband, believed that Driftmark should go to Ser Vaemond's true-born son. She says true-born, and that gets everybody like, even fucking Luke, even Luke is like, and she goes, Sir Lucas Velaryon or whatever, and everybody's like, whoa, whoa, and she's like, his mind never changed, and neither did my support of him. As a matter of fact, the princess has just informed me of her proposal to marry
Yeah,
the
she's
sons.
like,
the
I think
princes,
that's awesome.
yeah,
idea.
to my granddaughters, and I think that's a great idea. And he's like, all right.
The king's
then.
like, fucking A.
And he's like, all right. So, sounds like this matter's decided. Again. Aegon smiles when he says that, which I thought was weird when he says it's decided.
He doesn't want to be king.
He doesn't want nothing to do with it.
He's like, great.
Nobody's arguing me to do it anymore.
Yeah, their heritage is not in question. They're still set to take over.
Oh, that's right. Because if the one kid got questioned, then Jace would get questioned, putting him back in the line for a fucking king, and he wants nothing to do with that shit.
Yeah.
That's all on the down low between him and his mom, when she's smacking him around and telling him not to barmaids and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So Vaemond says, you break the law and centuries of tradition to name your daughter heir. But you presume to tell me who will take the name Velaryon? No, I will not allow it. And the king goes, allow it. And he shakes with rage and he goes, that is no true Velaryon. And points at Jace, or Lucas. And he basically, Rhaenyra tells him, go to your chambers.
Yeah,
You've said too much. And he goes, and he's just kind of sitting there, and the king goes, Lucerys Velaryon is my true-born grandson, and you are nothing but a second son of Driftmark.
Yeah.
Like, basically, like, who the fuck are you to me?
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to say that their fatherhood is in question, they are my daughter's kids still.
Yeah, they're my blood.
And they're still my blood.
If I want to put them on Driftmark, I'll do it.
That you're talking shit about at very least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Vaemon's like, you can run your house the way you see fit, like you were saying. Not mine. We survived the doom. And 1,000 other, fucking things.
Oppression.
And he's like, and I will not see it undone by this. And he pauses, and Daemon just looks at him and he goes, say it. says, say it, you motherfucker. All I need you to do is say it, and I have it's my wife, it's an open court, it's the princess and the heir to the
king's
throne.
already said that I'll take anyone's tongue.
Like, go ahead, just fucking give me a reason.
These bastards.
And he gets kind of smug, and because he's arrogant. He thinks that Daemon won't do it in front of all these people.
Yeah.
You know? Like, he's not really going to. Is he really that fucking... Or maybe he's just that rage-filled. I don't know. But he just sits there and...
Doesn't seem like he has a family to fall back on.
No, he's got nobody. He's got nobody.
This is all in now.
He's got no...
Daemon's all in. So he's like, these boys are bastards.
Yeah, he's like, her children are bastards. And she is a whore. And then everybody, Allison even goes, closes her eyes. Otto rolls his eyes like this, like, even Otto's like, oh, now you done it. I can't even fucking help you now.
Yeah.
I could have talked you out of everything up until that point. Everything until you said bastards and fucking whore. Everything I could have said.
Even the king gets up and pulls like a knife out of his sleeve.
And says,
as fucked up as he is, he's still fucking armed. He's still carrying.
He's still packing
like,
fucking
pulls out a knife. He's like, I will fucking have your tongue.
Yeah, and before he can even blink, before you can blink, you shows fucking Vaemond's head, as you've seen. Fucking on the floor, tongue waggling. Daemon's sitting there, puts the sword down. He can keep his tongue. And Otto screams, disarm him! And he's like, no need. And he's fucking cleaning off. Aemond looks just fucking...
badass.
Like, holy shit, like, that's my idol.
Yeah,
you can just do that?
Yeah. Wait. I'm fucking Targaryen. I'm the king's son. Can I just be cutting people's heads off? And I didn't know?
Are you sure I'm not his bastard?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. So then the king just screams in pain, and they call for the maesters. And Allison runs up to him and says, my king, you need to take something for the pain. And he's like, no, I will not cloud my mind. I don't want to cloud my mind. I must put things right, he says. I must put things right. And then it cuts to Princess Rhaenys, basically overlooking the preparation of Vaemon's body to get shipped back to Driftmark for the funeral. And the guy's like, you should let him work in private. Not good luck to look upon the eyes of the dead. And she's basically like, the stranger has visited me more times than I can count. And I can tell you that he cares little whether my eyes are open or closed.
Yeah.
You know?
She's lost a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people have died in my family. At least she thinks, at least her daughter.
And she's an elderly lady, too. Like, you're going to know a lot of people that died.
Her parents, or, her family, whatever. So basically, right after that, it cuts to the family dinner, which has Alicent and Rhaenyra sitting on opposite ends of where the king will eventually be sat.
In the middle.
And they're just sitting there like, awkward as fuck. And then the king gets carried in by a group of guys, because he's fucking...
Like a pharaoh.
Yeah, like a pharaoh. And he basically says he's happy to see all of you. I'm happy to see you all. And Alicent, says, shall we say a prayer? And she starts to say a prayer and adds in, and please pray for the soul of Prince Vaemond. And Daemon's just like, like chuckles out loud.
Yeah.
And Otto just looks
like
disgusted. Otto just looks disgusted, like, good God, blasphemy. The king basically said, so it's a celebration of marriages, that'll further strengthen our family. It's great. And Aegon makes a little sexual comment, and Jace kind of gets irritated. Hey, stop that! You're talking
basically
about...
insinuating that Jace.
Oh no, you'll finally get to have sex, and he's like, stop how you're talking. You're talking like that in front of my betrothed, and it's like whatever. So then it has the king stands and says, it fills my heart with joy, but also sorrow, to see all the faces of people I love the most, but so together at once, but so distant from each other after all these years,
Yeah, it took 6 years before.
All these years, and you guys still, So he sits there, he takes his mask off, and oh god, he looks like fucking Harvey Dent on the fucking Dark Knight. I mean, it's gone.
Or when Gus dies in...
Or Gus dies with Breaking Bad. That's a good reference. Just gone. Hollow here. His eye is gone. But he is still living. And it's like drooling if you look closer when he's talking later.
Stretches and shit.
And it's fucking, it's bad. He's eyeless. It's really sad.
He basically holds it like that for the rest of the dinner too.
For most of the rest of the dinner, he holds it that way. And he says, "My own face is no longer a handsome one, if it ever was. But I want you to see me as I am. Not just as a king, but as your father.
As your grandsire.
As your brother, as your husband, as your grandsire. You know? Who may not, as it seems, walk with you much longer."
Oh, yeah.
Like, basically, like, I'm fucking dying. I'm not going to be walking amongst you much longer. So, what does he say? Let us let go of the ill feelings.
How many times do I gotta fucking tell you guys?
Yeah.
Can't we all just get along?
Yeah, let go of the ill feelings.
That's how I ended the last episode.
Yeah. The crown cannot survive if the house of the dragon is divided.
Yeah.
He says that very clear. And then he goes, so put aside your grievances, if not for the sake of the crown. And he says it like choking up, crying, like, for the sake of this old man who loves you all so dearly. So dearly. I love you so much, you know. Can we just fucking, for one, just put aside? And then they're like, okay. And he sits down, and Rhaenyra kind of sees that this is an opportunity to, like, okay, I should make peace. So she sits up and she toasts Alicent, basically thanking her for, nobody stood by my father better than his wife.
Yeah, you have been loyal and you have been by his side.
No matter what. Basically, without saying it, even though, look at it, this guy is fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
And there's not even rumors of you having, like, a stable boy or anything. Like, you've been actually, like, he calls your name when people come into his room. So you actually obviously go check on him and shit, like. And for that, I'm grateful. She has my gratitude and my apology. And Alicent returns the favor, you know. Like, yes, that's very nice of you to say. You know, we're very much alike. More than we want to admit. You know.
We used to be friends
we
a long time
we love our children.
Yeah.
You know. And you'll make a fine queen. Alicent finally says that in front of everybody, which is kind of a big deal. And then Aegon makes another dirty comment. They're like, hey, you know, if you ever need a real man, just come give me a fucking holler. And Jace just slams his hand on the table and goes to stand up. And the minute he does, fucking Aemon stands up and just kind of looks at him. And Jace looks over at Aemon.
Make a move.
And as you pointed out, Aegon's like a little bitch. He was ready to fucking fight Aegon. He didn't care about that. But the minute he saw Aemon stand up, it was like,
Aemon's bigger than all of them.
Taller, definitely creepier vibe, just quiet.
And probably better.
And they watched it, and they
took better to his training.
Oh yeah, they watched him train, and he's a fucking badass. So he was justifiably like, okay, so toast to my uncles. You know, I look fondly back on our shared youth, which, you know. Sitting there with a fucking eye patch. He doesn't find this. He doesn't appreciate it, obviously. And then he says, you know, and our future allies. I hope we may, you know, remain allies. And then just fucking kind of punches Aegon on the shoulder, and Aegon's like,
yeah, you too.
You too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he sits down, and then Aemon kind of realizes, okay, he backed down. I can't be the only one that fucking just makes a scene, so he sits down, and then. Bless her heart, Princess Helena stands up and goes, I would like to toast Princess Baela and Princess Rhaenyra to their marriage It's not all bad. Mostly he just ignores you. And she's kind of buzzed, it looks like, when she says it. She got
I think she's just like loopy.
yeah, like,
just like Phoebe from Friends.
And she's just like, oh. Like, she's like, oh, like, it comes to her at that last moment. She's like, unless he's drunk. Unless sometimes when he's drunk. And then Aemon's just like, or Aegon's just like that's my wife talking about me.
Yeah.
Like, I ignore
my
her.
sister wife talking about me.
Ignoring her.
Ignoring her mostly, but if I get drunk, I might try and have a piece.
I might try to get a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's just fucking embarrassed.
And then after it does,
and the king just goes, Otto, what did you say Otto does?
Otto, as she sits there, she's like, that's all. And he's like,
Otto's like,
good girl, like.
And the king's
the
like,
best we could have hoped for.
And the king just kind of looks like, huh, music.
Yeah, let's
like,
have music.
Like, yeah, whatever. This is what I've been missing when I've been fucking sleeping in bed.
Right. And so it's like a mini montage of like,
Happy.
Jace gets up and asks Helen or Helena to dance.
Even though everyone's like embarrassed by her.
She's kind of goofy and they're dancing, having fun.
And it shows like Otto kind of clapping and Allison laughing and
Rhaenyra and
they were still
laughing
sticking,
together.
They were still sticking to their families,
yeah.
but they were like.
Before I forget, I read something and pointed out. Did you notice that he's all hollow and fucked up on the Hightower side of the table, like his face matches
Oh.
and his fucking eyesight's all on the Targaryen.
Like what the Hightowers have done to him.
It's like symbolism, I guess, or something like that. Either way.
That's fucking dope.
But so yeah, they're dancing,
happy times. It kind of shows the king looking on it and like smiling, like he got. And I was glad to see that because I've said it multiple times in the episodes when he's talked about his stress. It's basically like he just wants to get everybody to a happy moment and then die.
Yeah.
And it's
he wants
coming.
to complete that one task before he dies. Like if I can just get everybody together, not
secure the
fighting.
Targaryen line through another generation, I can die knowing that I did the best I could do.
My part for the Song of Ice and Fire. Basically.
Yeah, because it wasn't me. I wanted it to be me, but it's obviously not.
Yeah.
And then he basically
he starts getting into serious pain. He's like hunching over and shit.
Oh yeah, he starts getting into serious pain. Yeah, kind of starts. And then okay, so they take him out, and then the party kind of continues a little bit. Out comes a pig. They set it right in front of fucking Aemon, and Jace is sitting across from him.
No, Luke.
Oh, Luke, the one who took his eye. Luke is like being so fucking stupid. I know he's a kid, but even so,
the actor did really well.
He did perfect.
I think I was like, it was uncontrollable.
Yeah, he was like,
he wasn't laughing in his face.
He was trying to look away from him. Even.
Yeah, it was
every
like,
time
oh,
he
shit.
looked at the pig. And then looked at Aemon, who they teased about the pig, right?
Yeah, and it's like a perfect shot. Like the pig is here, and Aemon just like looks over, like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Yeah, kind of like, and then sees the pig, and then he just flips around real quick, slams on the table,
like punches the table
with the cup in his hand, and goes, "Final tribute to my nephew, to the health of my nephews." They're handsome, yeah, Jace,
Luke, Joffrey.
Yeah, he does not mention Daemon's children.
Yeah.
You pointed that out to me. I did not notice that before. He only mentions the nephews that are...
He names off the strong...
The Strongs, obviously. We all know, right?
Yeah.
The Strongs' nephews. The Strongs' nephews. So he goes... what does he say? He says...
To the health of my uncles.
Yeah, to the health of my nephews.
Nephews, that's right. Nephews.
Yeah, he goes, they're...
wise...
Or yeah, wise, loyal,
and a long
strong.
pause. He looks funny. He goes,
oh yeah, strong. And then they just kind of look irritated, and then he goes.
No, Allison immediately gets up and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
You say that in front of all these people, yeah.
And Jace goes, "Say it again." He goes, "Well, it was only meant to be a compliment."
Yeah, no, yeah. First he says, handsome. No, that's what he says. He says to my nephews, the health of my nephews, handsome, loyal, strong, and then Jace kind of looks and turns, and Alice kind of goes to stand up, and then he goes, "Let us empty our cups to these strong boys." And he's like, say it again. He's like, what? Don't you feel strong? And then he pushes him, showing he could have fucked him up. No, he goes to hit him, and all he does is go like this. He hits him on the shoulder, dude, pushes him down and kind of smiles. Aegon quickly grabs fucking Lucas and fucking
smashes his head to the
fucking
table.
Mafia slams his fucking head to the table and holds him down like, you ain't going nowhere, little guy.
Yeah.
Right?
And Allison's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like,
in front of all these people, he's like, what, mother? I'm simply expressing love of my family or appreciation for my family. Apparently something my nephews don't share. And then they go to get in a fight, and Daemon steps in.
Yeah, he's like, tells Jace, he's like, just back.
Oh yeah, no, Rhaenyra's like, go to bed. Off to your chambers now. And they all go up to their chambers, except for Aemond. He just stands there kind of looking irritated, like tough guy, until Daemon walks up, kind of looks at him, kind of like, almost looks like Red Foreman to me, just kind of rolls his eyes looking at him like, what? And Aemond kind of stares at him too, back for a second, and then goes, and scoffs, and then walks past like, okay, that means me too.
And you see Daemon look at his best like,
smiles.
Fucker?
Yeah, like, he thought about it.
Yeah. Reminds me of me.
Yeah, exactly. Reminds me of me. That kid's going places.
Yeah.
That kid is going
He's already
places.
riding Vagar. I seen that motherfucker.
Yeah. And so that's where it ends. And she's like, okay, well, we're going to go home. Rhaenyra's like, no. And Alicent's like, you just got here. She's like, well, let me get the boys home at least. The children home. And I'll return on Dragonback.
We'll make everything
right.
right.
And we'll make everything right. And, finally make peace. And it seemed like they were finally going to.
Yeah, there's after
make
speeches
peace.
and everything, yeah.
It really seemed like Alicent was legitimately going to do it too. We can rule together. We can figure this out. We're not going to do. We're not going to
Kids had to go
We're not going to get rid of you, necessarily. Just we're not going to let you run the show.
Yeah.
Like you still live in the Red Keep, just fucking downstairs. You don't get the big bedroom anymore. But then it cuts to the Viserys at night, and he's just talking about the dream before Alicent gets there. Is he having the dream? Or?
I think it's mostly incoherent at first.
Yeah, and he's just like, hey.
And she shows up.
And she shows up, and what is it, Mike?
And he
he's
thinks he's talking
to Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's true.
He's like, what you said earlier, so I say, it's like, I do believe that.
Because I do believe Aegon must sit the throne. Aegon. But he was talking about Rhaenyra's Aegon.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't talking about his. But Alicent legitimately took it as...
Because he didn't go in detail and be like, this Song of Ice and Fire, I told you about.
Yeah.
Now,
he does say Song of Ice and Fire, and she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's like, what are you even talking about?
And he's like,
Aegon needs to be on the throne.
yeah, Aegon must be on the throne. And she's like, yes, my king. And he's like, and she knows right then he's dying too, which seems like she could have stayed.
She already takes off.
Yeah, which
like,
is
oh my god, he said it,
Yeah, like I can go tell my dad. I've got to. I better hurry up and get word to
and
people.
Basically, the episode ends on him just alone in his bed,
alone,
like fucking into the wild.
Yeah,
when he dies, just staring at it, and he says, "My love."
Oh yeah, he says
because he sees. I believe Emma.
We believe he sees Emma, his first wife.
Because he called Alice Emma in the last episode.
Yeah,
he's been losing his mind in this one already.
Throughout the whole last couple episodes, so that's pretty much where it all ends. And
thanks, Patty.
To Patty. Let's see. Hold on. We're gonna have to You're gonna rewind and redo that. Cheers
to Patty O'Hurlihan.
Patty Considine.
Considine.
I think it's Considine.
Patty O'Hurlihan.